Greetings to our Cable 10 viewers. I'm June Renfro with the Rifle Chamber of Commerce Ambassadors, and I have the pleasure of being here today with Cissy Tabor. And she has Cissy's Auction and Special Events, LLC. She is from Loma, Colorado. You want your phone number on there?
That's fine.
Her phone number is 970-216-9988. And she has an email address, and it's sissysauctions@gmail.com. So we're going to visit with Cissy a little bit, find out a little bit about her, where she started out, how she became a lady auctioneer. I think this is going to be really fun. So Cissy, let's hear from you.
Well, my husband took me to an auction in between Fruita and Loma, Colorado, and there was a female auctioneer, and there was a few problems going on and everything else, and I looked at him and I said, I can do better than that. Nothing like competition, I guess. Anyhow, we were talking about it. He asked me if I was serious, mentioned a lady who is a female auctioneer out of Steamboat Springs. She's a National Auctioneer Hall of Fame member, only, First Lady inducted, and I looked at it, kept investigating. I said, I want to do it. So he sent me off to auction school.
And how long ago was that?
That was a little over 2 years ago.
Okay.
I went to North Carolina.
Oh my goodness, well, I bet that was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Okay, Cissy, tell us a little bit about you. You started out here in Rifle, am I correct?
Yes.
So tell us
yes.
a little bit about your family, would you please?
I moved to Rifle after the bust from Texas. That's a story. And my father worked for the city of Rifle. My mother worked for the high school. I am a graduate of Rifle High School. My youngest daughter is now a graduate of Rifle High School. And I moved after our 10-year reunion. I'd say I moved to Grand Junction. Weather was a little bit warmer. We used to have a lot colder winters here at the time, and it kind of felt more home at the time. But I always come back to Rifle. My parents still live here, so I visit often, and it's still considered home.
Well, there you go. Okay, I want to find out about your business because you talk about fundraising and this sort of thing. So let us know a little bit about the auction business. I'd like to hear about it.
Well, I have about 3 different divisions I kind of work in the auction division. One is just auctions, whether it's industrial, estate, liquidations, downsizing, family passing away. But I do have 2 specialties. One specialty I have is storage wars. I'm a storage auctioneer. I am the only storage auctioneer in the western slope of Colorado, and I do that independently through another company. And then my other specialty is fundraising. I have done a lot of education in that, and there is only, out of worldwide, there's probably about 170 auctioneers that are certified as a benefit auctioneer specialist. I am in the last half of that, so that's one of my things because it's very particular. It's kind of like you want a diesel mechanic to work on your heavy equipment, not a car mechanic. So for benefit auctioneer specialists, I am concentrated in the fundraising. 2 years ago, it was reported that over $16 billion was raised in fundraising alone in the U.S. So.
And how do you do a fundraising? What's the procedure with that? So how do you start?
There's a lot into a fundraising. The most ideal time to have a fundraiser is to plan it for a year and not to make it just, hey, we need to raise some funds, let's do this, and kind of throw it together and do the best effort that you can. The most ideal is a year, and it's kind of like Walt Disney. Don't make it just a fundraiser, make it a yearly thing. You're always going to have needs for fun, especially if you are doing it for a purpose in the first place. Say like the Rifle Boosters Club. They always have needs for fun. So that would be a thing. In regard to fundraising, you could get away very easily with 6 months. 3 months is pushing it. It is very hard. You want to have committees. And the hardest part about fundraising is most people who are doing the fundraising, they have a full-time job. They work 40 hours a week. So you're actually asking them to do this in addition to their regular work and to take away from their own free time and their family. And so I help them assist through the whole process. I help them set up the fundraising, the committees. I'm as much hands-on as possible, and that's the way I like it and encourage people to do that because I have a wealth of knowledge. that I have gained, and I actually have a wealth of pool of references, whether it's resources or actual other auctioneer references. And in regard to fundraising, like I said, you start with committees. You need to get donations. What kind of donations? Who wants donations? How many donations? What will the donations bring? What is the actual goal that you're wanting to achieve? How much money you would like to achieve, and everything. So it's a really dynamic to pull it all off.
I can tell it would take some time to really make it work.
It does take some time. Basically, you got to think of it as a business. And even it's just like companies where somebody may retire or somebody moves on to another job or moves to another location. The same thing with your fundraising and your committees. Your fundraising chairperson, they would like to pass it down. And so if you do this as a job and as a yearly event, number one, you've got plans in place. You've got a system in place. Can it be improved on, or can it stay the same? The other thing is you want to make the community aware of the purpose of the fundraising. It isn't as much as raising the funds, but also bringing the purpose for the fundraising in front of the community. And then the other thing is, if you make it an annual event, say the first Saturday of March every year, then everybody's got something to look forward to, that they always sit there and go, I'm going to this. It's a black tie affair, and we have a lot of fun, just like the annual chamber dinner. Everybody looks forward to that, and what are we going to do this year? What's the theme, and everything else involved.
So on the fundraising, what do you find for items for this? Where would you start? How would you categorize it so that you know what you want to have there?
That's the biggest thing, is wanting to know, what do you get? What kind of items do you get? Are they actual tangible items? Are they services? And that depends on who you have attending. To be honest, it's one of those things, if you get local hotel room stays, that's great for them to donate. However, everybody participating in Rifle, Colorado may not want a local hotel room stay. But if it can be extended to, say, past Christmas time, it might be beneficial. So where you have family coming in, you give them a free place to stay, and they're still closed, so maybe not always underfoot. There's a lot of different things involved in that. The other thing that we have is called do the math. Do you have enough funds? Do you have enough money sitting in the room from your participants for the items that you have? Or do you have too many items? The other thing that I assist with is assisting you in with whether this should be a silent auction item, whether this should be a live auction item, or if this should be something in between, or if we should group items together, and how to display them. The biggest question, is there's two big questions. Where do you get the funds, or where do you get the items, and what items do you want? The other one is on your attendees. The biggest question most people do not realize when you're having a fundraiser is having an event and then opening it up for invitation and letting the public know. Do you actually know whether those attendees support your cause, number one, and number two, are they willing to pay for what you have to assist you in raising the funds that you want to meet and exceed? So for that, I teach a curriculum and a seminar in regard to, you want to make an invite. A fundraising event should first and foremost be an invitation. That way you have the money in the room, you have the supporters in the room, you have the people that stand behind you in the room that are also interested in what you're offering, because it's not so much about the items, it's about the support of the event.
So how do we then get in touch with you, Cissy, to get this information, and how long does it take? Was it an all-day session, a half-a-day session, or do you come here, or do we go there?
Well, it's pretty open. I'm pretty easy. You can get a hold of me. You can Google me. Cissy's Auction and Special Events. I do have two web pages. For my fundraising side, it's www.auctionbenefit.com. And for my auction side, whether you have an estate or anything else, it's sissysauction.com, and it's spelled with a C, ISSYSAUCTION.com. My phone number is 970-216-9988. And I am working on the seminars, and I will be presenting them in the Grand Junction area. Plus, I'm also going to come up Valley and start presenting a series of seminars for a small fee. They'll start with basically Fundraising 101, trying to get your feet wet so you can kind of see an overall picture to kind of get you excited and help give you guidelines, and then they will go into more details. I do have in regard to fundraising and there's different areas and events to grow into to assist you in the process.
Okay. So will you be sending out some literature on that? Well, how will we know when those are going to happen?
Well, I will be looking up a lot of nonprofit organizations in the area. They can also contact me. Like I said, if you Google me, you can find me. You can even find me on Facebook.
Okay.
You can find me through the Rifle Chamber. They can more than willingly give out my information. I've given them permission to do so. And then I also will be doing a newspaper advertisement to let people know, and
Good.
then also be doing, what I can in finding nonprofit organizations in the area to let them know, because even if you don't want to go through a whole series, I would encourage you at least to go through my first, 3 to basically give you some information, because I also provide some products that you can purchase, a book of basically start to finish.
Oh, good. That helps. That helps a lot. Cissy, if you were to auction off this pen, how would you do that?
Well, let's say this is a gold pen with some rhinestones. So let's give it some really good value here. And on this gold pen, with some rhinestones and everything else, we're going to start it out low so everybody can kind of get in. Let's start out with a $25 bid. Who would have bid at $25? I have 25 and 50, 50 here now, 75, 75 and 100. I have 100 here now, 125, 150, 175, 175 now, 200 now, 200 anywhere. Anybody else? I got 175, 200 anywhere. Sold. 175. Thank you.
Thank you, Cissy. We appreciate this. We really appreciate you. We appreciate what you're doing.
No problem.
I think it would be really fun to hear you at an auction. I think it would be really neat to go there. And it's kind of nice to be able to interview a lady auctioneer, because I have never done that.
Yeah, there's only 3 that I'm aware of in the western slope of Colorado. I think there's probably 20 or less. And anybody for auctions or auctioneers, they can always go onto the Colorado Auctioneers Association webpage, and we're all listed there. And we also have a calendar of all the auctions coming up throughout the state of Colorado.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It was really nice to have you here today.
Thank
It's
you.
been
It was
fun
nice here.
to visit with you, and thank you so very much. We'll be getting in touch.
Thank you so very
You're
much.
welcome.